In this environment, how do you guys, as venture investors, how do you evaluate the new business models or new companies?
So much of it right now is about franchises. I don't think that most gamers on a Big Fish game or a PopCap game associate that game with either one of those companies. It's about the title itself and it being unique and very intriguing to the user. So as that user, as those companies move their games to the social platform, hopefully they'll be able to attract that audience either from where they are, which are largely, some of them non-paying, to paying environment within the social web with virtual currency, or some model like that that has to be adapted. But the fact that they are a PopCap game, for instance, I don't think will hold a lot of weight to the user. I think it's really about the franchise of the title itself, or the franchise of, again, whether it's Farmville.2 or you name it. But moving a Sudoku game from PopCap onto the social web, I'm not sure that holds a lot of water. Yeah, and the irony in all of this is that we're talking about inside social apps today, but many of the companies that we've referred to already have strategies internally to move off Facebook. They're sitting there saying, we don't want to be a Facebook-only company or a social network-only company. We don't want to be beholden to whatever tariff is coming down the road, benefits aside, because there are benefits to having that tariff in place. So again, the irony is that you have the Asian companies who I think inevitably will come in and make a huge splash when they do come into the US market with their acquisitions, looking at these companies who are largely social networking experts, but these companies are saying, we need to diversify and get off the platform as quickly as possible, diversify away from the platform as quickly as possible, not get off of it, in order to really maintain our audience and make sure our audience is proprietary to us. So that's the irony in all of this. And it's a delicate dance that all of these companies are going to need to do as they converse with many of the Asian acquirers that are coming.
So here's my shopping list. It goes in 5 categories. The first one you know already. It's the Publisher 2.0, so Zynga, Playdom, and Gmoko on the iPhone side. Gaming 1.0 guys, EA already took up Playfish. At some point, Activision will say, we got to jump in here. UB and THQ, if they still have enough acquisition currency, could do something here. The media companies will be expected to make more moves. Mandates are already out there with bankers, so expect to see NBC, Comcast, ABC Disney, IAC, MTV Viacom, News Corp, Discovery Channel, Warner and Universal making moves. The Asians will be making very aggressive plays. You've already seen Shanda pick up Mochi, but in China, Perfect World and Tencent are well positioned, as is Giant. Japan has Dina, Mixi and Gree, and SoftBank. Korea has NHN, SK Telecom making moves. And then you've got the big giants. The new war is all Apple, Facebook, Google. So they may buy more platform extensions. And if Yahoo and AOL ever get their act together, they might buy something. And then I'm kind of curious to see what the Russians will do.
So I want to see this in your next analyst report.
I saw some of the bankers here taking very aggressive notes of all the companies you mentioned.
Did anyone write that down? Thank you. The bloggers. Got it. And I think that Facebook has every incentive in the world down the road to open up their platform to be more viral. But for the time being, it's closing it, and they have many, many reasons to do that. But having said that, we have companies in the portfolio that early on amassed 30 million registered users and now are developing social games. It's a lot easier for them to exist and develop social games because now they can pump these games into their already very rabid and very, very installed fan base. It's so hard to start from scratch. It feels like it's the destination site all over again. And I have a really hard time with that. And at the same time, once you get to some level of scale or ingenuity or originality, Zynga et al. Will come knocking on your door and I'm sure give you an offer that is probably pretty hard to refuse.
Let's take China. Massive, massive player base. More DAUs than you could shake a stick at. ARPU, infinitesimally small. And so let's counter that with Japan. Small market, extremely high ARPU. So as a result, you get Chinese social game developers now saying, forget the US, too crowded. I'm going to take a flight over to Japan, localize this Flash game, which already is supported by Flash-based browsers on mobile there. Next thing you know, I got a hit game on Mixi at much higher ARPUs than I ever would have seen in China. So sometimes you get these little kind of arbitrage multiples because you get this better ARPU or sort of EBITDA, depending which regions you're after.
in the US, there is room for monetization to grow
I hope
to
so.
Yeah. A, it has to, but B, I mean, the types of games that you're seeing right now en masse are very, very casual games, right? They are these huge hits like Farmville that have tens of millions of users. As you look towards the Chinese model or the Korean model or others, they're games that are much more engaging. Their K factor, their viral factor might be lower, but their engagement factor is so much higher, and that's just going to naturally lead in more affluent countries, not necessarily in, let's say, India. It's going to need to lead, I think, to higher ARPUs at the end of the day. Because I think the trend will be away from highly viral, high churn games.
We'll wrap the discussion here. Thank you all, audience, for being such a patient audience and your interesting questions. Thank you, panel, for your insight and your time. And most important, thank you, Justin and his team, for organizing this kick-ass conference.